Good morning. Morning again. We're not getting too much snow. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Now we're going to get a snowstorm. Anyway, I had made a whole video on making my vegan steak, my plant-based meat steak. And I don't know what happened to it. It was the whole process. The flour washing, the cooking of the steak, and oh, so frustrating. So now I have to wait and do it again. But anyway, I wanted to show you how the steaks turned out. And they're really tasty. So one of them I've been eating, and they're very filling, but they look so much like meat, it's scary. So this is what they look like. And I know they look dark, but I put a little charcoal on them. So next time I'm not going to put the charcoal on there like I did with these. But yeah, I mean, they've got a great texture. And this is what this one looks like. This one is not cut yet. I'm going to freeze this one because I can't eat all that. But it has a really, really good flavor. So I will make a video about washing the flour. Yum. My nails are a mess. I have to do those. And I got a lovely card from my friends Karen and Dave up in Canada. Lakeside Homestead with Dave and Karen. And this just came the other day. It's after Christmas. It's already after New Year's. And I got a couple other Christmas cards too. So the Postal Service is really, really on sleeping mode. But anyway, I wanted to tell you about the steak and the card. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it very much. And I also got my wine yeast. It came in the mail, and it's 10 packets for, I think, $6.60, something like that. So I want to make some wine out of juice, and the YouTube channel that I got the idea from was Doing It Cheap, and the guy calls himself Pawpaw. So today I'm probably going to go out and get some juice and try making some homemade wine. So let's see what else is going on. Not much. Sometimes when I make up a recipe, I sort of rely on my video to have the ingredients. So anyway, with my steak recipe, I didn't have the video anymore, but I did remember what to do. So if any of you want to wash the flour, this is the recipe. It's kind of hard to see. So this is the recipe if you don't want to wait, but it really, really turned out good. So, but I will be doing that within the next week or two. I'll be making another batch. I've been cooking up a storm here, soups and stir fries, and just trying to use up what I have and save up some money because I have some couple Christmas bills I got to pay now. I wasn't going to do anything for Christmas and say, let's not do gifts this year. But then I found that to be kind of depressing. And so I just kept it at a minimum, and it was fine. It was good. So I didn't break the bank with doing that. And I did get some money for Christmas. So I did order a couple things from Amazon. And of course, they're for cooking because that's something that I really enjoy doing. So what I'd like to do, I got a little sous vide gadget. And I want to try to make some seitan, doing a sous vide recipe. I don't know how it'll turn out. Might be good, might not be good. So I got that, and I got some little wood chips because I do have it's like an Instapot smoker. So I want to try and make some more cheeses and maybe smoke some seitan or smoke some tofu. And I'll make a video about that too. And I know that doesn't really interest my meat eating friends too much, but I don't know. You might want to think about maybe trying some of these things. Might not be too bad. But anyway, it will save you some money. So, and you might decide you like it. So anyway, that's about all I have. I just wanted to come on and say hello. And so far, so good. The new year's going well. Today is, anyway, I just wanted to say hello. And I heard too that take your vitamin D because that helps ward off colds and things like that. Now, I'm not a doctor or anything, do some research on it, but that's what I heard. So I've been doing that. And I like Airborne. I take that stuff whenever I first get a little sniffle or something. I just go get my Airborne and I take that for a few days. And it does seem to help. So, but again, do your own research on that and see if maybe that helps you too. Hi guys. So, my Christmas present to me from my family, since they gave me money, arrived today. And I made myself another chai latte. And the reason I'm telling you about this is because now I had a different frother in my last video, and that works fine. The problem that I was finding that I had with that particular frother was the container's kind of bigger around, and if you only make a small amount of milk, it doesn't work so well with small amounts of milk. So, and another thing is it's stainless steel, so I can't heat up the milk in that container because I heat it up in the microwave. So what I did was I got this little device instead, and I just tried it and it works beautifully. And this one is a Sakitut. And the reason I bought this particular one was it had a good rating, and also I got it on Amazon. And it also has an interchangeable little whisk for whisking eggs, which, you know, big deal. You take a fork, but some of them that I looked at only had this, and they were the same price or more. And so far, this works great. It's got a USB charger thing that comes with it. And another reason I picked this one was because it also has all these little templates. I haven't tried these, so I don't know how they work. They're like a silicone template. And I guess you can pour the milk. These come out, and you pour the milk through the template, and you can make a little design on top of your coffee or tea, which, okay, if you want to be a barista, and it's a fun thing to do, but I figured for the same price, I would get this one. So, and I think I paid, I want to say 16 some dollars for it, but I would have to look that up. I'll leave the price for you. But yeah, so I got that. So that wasn't real expensive, and I'm really liking my tea lattes. I mean, this has a beautiful head of foam on it. and it's very tasty. Then I also got these smoker wood chips, and this one is pecan. And you can use this with a stovetop smoker. And I have it's like an Instapot, but it's not Instapot, but it is an indoor smoker, and it's like it closes up tight. So I want to use this to start smoking some things, tofu or vegan cheese or whatever. So I got that, and this was $6 and something. That's also from Amazon. And then I got this little gadget. Now I know you can pay a lot of money for these, but I don't know how much I'm going to use this. So this was $59, and it is a sous vide cooker, an immersion cooker. So it's the kind, you can buy sous vide machines that actually come with a pot and everything, but I didn't want that. I wanted something that was easy to store when I don't use it. So this is what it looks like, and I haven't tried it yet. So, but apparently this clips on. This clips on to the side of your pot, and then this goes into the bottom, and it plugs in, and then on top it has different settings. So I want to try it for cooking my seitan, because you're not supposed to boil seitan. It makes it mushy, and I don't like it that way. So anyway, those were the Christmas presents I got myself from my family, and I want to thank them. I appreciate it very much. I had a viewer ask me if I was going to spend the money on paying down debt, or if I was going to spend the money on something. And I could have spent the money on paying down debt, but these are things that I wanted, and it's like, for me now, I got them for free because it didn't come out of my income. And another thing is, every time I use these, I'm going to think of my family, and I'm going to be very grateful that they gifted me with these things. So anyway, I have another thing coming from Amazon that hasn't arrived yet, and this is for it's reusable vacuum bags, and I want to use those with the sous vide, and I also want to use them in the freezer. And then I also have the Red Star wine yeast, and I did go out and buy 3 bottles of juice today, so I'm excited to try that. So lots of cooking projects coming up for Ellen, and I'll bring you along with me when I do my kitchen projects. Hi guys! I'm going to make some wine because why not? There's nothing else to do. So I'm making this wine. I got the recipe from Paw over at Doing It Cheap, I think his channel is called. And I also need to bottle my kombucha, and I wanted to try and make some elderberry kombucha because elderberries are good for your immunity. But first I'm going to make this wine, and all you need is, this is apple juice concentrate. You can, any 100% juice will do, and you don't even need a separate receptacle. You can use this. So the first thing that he says you need to do is you remove 2 cups of the juice. So I'm going to do that.
And this is a 2-cup cup. Okay, so that's it. Because what we're going to do, in here I have a 1.5 cups of sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of, now he said you can use bread yeast, but I got this wine yeast off of Amazon, and it was like 10 packs for $6 and something. So this will go a long way and make a lot of wine. Now this is supposed to be a sweet wine. So I have my yeast in there and my sugar. So I need to get a funnel. I'll be right back. Okay, I have my handy dandy funnel here. This is kind of neat because it collapses. I like these things that collapse. I have measuring cups that do the same thing because they don't take up as much room. But I have to do this slowly because the hole is kind of small. So I'm going to put this just right in here, right in the juice. And I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. And then so this video doesn't get too long, I'll be back once I get that done. Alright, I have all the sugar in here. Now a cup of sugar, I think, once it turns liquid, goes down to 1/2 cup of sugar. So I'm going to put the lid back on, and then you need to shake this up really, really well. So, because you're not going to touch this again until it's all done. So no more shaking after this. So you have to make sure all that sugar is dissolved. So, and then you're going to put it in a dark, warmish place. In fact, in one of his videos, he even, I think, put his in with a heating mat or something like that. Because the temperature does make a difference in how long it takes to ferment. So just keep shaking because you can still see lots of sugar down there. So I'm not going to bore you with that process because I think you all know how to do this. Then I'll be back in a little bit and I'm going to bottle my kombucha. Okay, that looks pretty good. I don't see any more sugar on the bottom. Now what you also need to do, you need to loosen this cap so that it doesn't blow up. And you don't want to make it so loose that the bugaboos can get in there. But if the cap goes up and down like that, can you see that? Then that's good enough. Now I'm going to put this in my pantry and just let it ferment. And you'll start to see bubbles on the top. Now this has them from shaking, but you'll also start to see bubbles as the yeast starts to eat up the sugar. And when that is completely smooth and done, there's no more bubbles, no more activity going on, then your wine should be done. Now from what he says, this is a sweet wine, which is my favorite. I don't know how you can make a drier wine. Go on over to his channel and give him a visit, and maybe he has some information on that for you. But the nice thing is to play with your food. I'm always saying play with your food. You know, invent something delicious. So that's the first thing I'm doing there. Now I save these juice bottles to brew my kombucha. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put about, a tablespoon. I have these elderberries that I got from Frontier, from Amazon. And I'm going to put about a tablespoon of these dried elderberries in here. Try not to spill them all over the place. And then I'm going to put some of this apple juice in with it too, because that also has sugar. So, I'll put maybe half a cup of apple juice. And my kombucha will eat off of that too. So, a little bit more. And then now I've never tried this before. I'm going to put, where did I put them? Oh, I have some stevia from my garden. And I'm going to try, and hopefully this won't kill my brew. It shouldn't, but I don't know. Like I said, I like to play with my food. Now the stevia, you can, make like a tincture out of this too, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put some directly into my kombucha. And then just for good measure, I'm also going to put a little sugar in here because I wanted to ferment more. So I'm going to go get about, a good teaspoon of sugar. And that will give my kombucha something to eat on. Now again, you have to be careful with kombucha, with the second ferment, because it can blow up. Because if you want bubbles, you kind of have to put the lid on tighter. Now you can burp this every couple days, but I'm just going to leave it for maybe 3 or 4 days. And then you put it in the refrigerator and that stops the fermentation. So I want to make sure all that sugar is dissolved before I put my kombucha in here. And from what I've read, for your second ferment of kombucha, most of your yeast is on the bottom of your kombucha vessel. So the yeast is what actually makes it bubble. So anyway, I'm going to go fill this up. Now I have a continuous brew going on here. I have a spigot here. And if you want to see more about how I make my kombucha, I do have that in one of my playlists. If I remember, I'll link it below. In fact, I think I have a couple of videos on how to make kombucha. So, all the sugar's dissolved now, and I'm going to fill this up. I'll bring you closer. There we go. And this is about as easy as you can get. Now I tasted this morning. I made this on 1-3, and I wasn't sure if my scobies were still viable. So I did let this go a couple days longer than I normally would. But you have to taste it, and when it's sweet enough for you, that could take 5 days, it could take 10 days. Some of us like it a little more sweet, some more tart. So this was almost to the point where it was starting to get too tart, and if you let it go too long, you're going to have a lot of vinegar, which isn't a bad thing, because you can also make different flavored vinegars out of kombucha. Now you don't want to fill this all the way to the top. You want to leave a little headspace. So like I said, I don't know how this is going to work with the stevia in there. It's an experiment I'm doing. And I should be able to get one more bottle. So it's a brew day. Now sometimes what I do with this on the second ferment, I'll put it in one of those Dollar Tree dish bins, or in a sink, just in case I forget about it, it doesn't brew over. But keep an eye on your second ferment, because you do not want the bottles to get too full. All right, I'm going to make my second bottle, and I'll be back in a little bit. Now, I did write the date on top of here because with this going in my pantry closet, I don't want to forget what day I started it. And I'm curious to see how long it takes to turn into wine. So always put a date on your brews and your ferments.
Okay, so that was my wine making and brewing, kombucha brewing adventure. I haven't been on here very much lately because I haven't had much to say. So I wanted to just show you that process. And from what Papa says, store-bought wine is usually, he said, 10 to 12% alcohol. Now you can buy a little meter and everything. You can get really fancy when it comes to making wine, but I like simple. I like quick and simple and tasty. That's my thing. But apparently, um, when this wine is done, it's 16 to 20% alcohol. Now, I know when you first make the bottle of wine, when you have one of these meter things, which I don't have, I may in the future get one. I don't know. I may not even need one. But you have to measure in the beginning before you add all your sugar and yeast. And then when you're done with your alcohol, then you measure again, and that's how you measure the alcohol content. But there again, we're getting a little more complicated. And at this point, I don't have any interest to do that. But, I've always wanted to make wine. I thought it'd be a really fun thing to do. So when my wine is done, I will do a taste test with you. But for now, I just have to wait and see how long it's going to take. So I'll be back in a second. So anyway, what did you guys get for Christmas? Leave me a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button. It makes the YouTube algorithm push more of my videos out so they get seen. And it helps my channel grow. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.